Hi friends, welcome to Easy to Learn channel. Uh, the next topic today I am explaining about energy and power signals. Here the signal which have finite energy is called energy signal. Here the non-periodic signals like exponential signals will have constant energy. And so non-periodic signals are also called as an energy signal. So energy signal which can be represented as E of a continuous time domain x of t is defined as, so this is Ct is nothing but it's a continuous time, and the energy which is equal to limit t tends to infinity integration of minus t to t mod x of t whole square into dt. So whereas if you write the same equation in a discrete domain t is E is equal to, so in place of integration here is for discrete intervals we have to represent it with summation. That means summation is nothing but different types of different intervals of samples. So n is equal to minus infinity to infinity mod x of n whole square into whole square joules. The units of energy is joules. So this is an energy signal E. Whereas how to represent a power signal? So here the average power of a continuous time signal is x of t. So if you write the power equation of a continuous time domain, here the limit t tends to infinity 1 by t integral minus t to t mod x of t whole square into dt. So the power which is represented as watts, units of watts. So limit, if it is a discrete time domain, the power which is represented as limit n tends to infinity 1 by 2n plus n summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity mod x of n whole square. So these two formulas, this is for power signal and these two formulas are for energy signals. So these two are very important. So here one more important point is, see here, for periodic signals, for periodic type of signals we have already discussed about the meaning of periodic. That means the signal which repeats after certain interval of time, which is nothing but periodic signals. For that type of signals, the average power of one period will be same as the average power over infinite interval. That means one period is nothing but what? 0 to t. If you take that 0 to t, so here the power is what? 1 by t integral 0 to t mod x of t whole square into dt. So this is the average power. This is the average power. So two important points for the exam point of view or the GATE exam point of view. So you have to remember for energy signals, if you take in energy signals, E is constant. That means if it is an energy or power signals, the limits are in between 0 to infinity. So if it is a power signal and power is constant and the power is in between 0 to infinity, that means if it is an energy or power, the value is in between 0 to infinity means what? It is having some finite value. That means that finite value, if the energy signal having a finite value, then the power is 0. If the power signal having the finite value, then the energy is infinite. So these two points are very important for energy and power type of signals. Let us see these two proofs. Let us see the proof of the energy signal is 0 over infinite time. That means the energy signal power is what? 0 at infinite time. Next one is what? The energy of the power signal is infinite over infinite time. So we have to prove these two proofs are also important for exam point of view. See the first proof, that is the power of energy signal. Let x of t be an energy signal and the power. So x of t we are taking as an energy signal and we have to write the equation of the power signal. So we already know the equation of the power signal, that is what? So we are taking a continuous time domain signal, we are taking this equation, that is 1 by p is equal to limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t integral minus t to t x of t whole square into dt. So now the limits here I am expanding, and I am expanding to integration. So that means here the limits t tends to infinity 1 by 2t of again limit t tends to infinity integration of remaining part. Now here the limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t integration minus infinity to infinity mod x of t whole square into dt. That means here we are taking a power signal, right? So this is a power signal. So here we are changing the limits. So here t tends to infinity. Then here remove t and substitute the t value. What is the t value? Infinity. That means minus infinity to infinity. What is the next equation? Limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t integration minus infinity to infinity x of t whole square into dt. So here the equation, the same equation is here. So this is the equation, limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t integration minus infinity to infinity. Now what is this equation? What is this equation? So we already know this is an energy signal E, right? So we are taking as energy signal E. So here E is constant. Now limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t into E. Now what are the limit t value? Infinity. If you substitute t value as infinity, that means 1 by infinity value is what? 0. So this signal is what? Power. So the power of energy signal is 0 over which interval? Infinite time interval. So the power of energy signal is 0 over infinite time interval. So that is the proof of first one. Let us see the next one, that is energy of the power signal. The energy of the power signal. So here we are taking an energy signal. So this is the definition of the formula of energy signal. So let us change the limits of integration. So in place of minus infinity to infinity, change the limits from minus t to t and take limit t tends to infinity. Now E is equal to limit t tends to infinity, changing the limits minus t to t mod x of t whole square into dt. Now, so we can get a power signal. For that power signal, there is a 1 by 2t. So here for that I am multiplying 2t into 1 by t. Here the value is 1. So here limit t tends to infinity 2t into 1 by t remaining part. So rearranging all the terms by rearranging E is equal to limit t tends to infinity 2t. So you have to expand this limit to integration also. That is limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t integration minus t to t mod x of t whole square into dt. So what is this signal? So this signal is what? Power signal. So I am writing here as power signal. Then limit t tends to infinity 2t into power. Now if you substitute the t value as infinity, that value is what? Infinity into power. Thus here the energy of power signal is infinite over infinite interval. So I am repeating again, this energy of power signal is infinite over infinite time period. So these two proofs are very important for energy and power signals and problems also. So the last type of signal is what? Deterministic and random signal, or we call it as non-deterministic signals. So here deterministic signals are nothing but what? Any type of signals which can be represented in a mathematical form. For example, if you take a cos signal, So there is a cos signal. This is a cos signal. So the mathematical equation of the cos signal, how to write that equation, that is cos omega t. So this signal is having a mathematical form. For this is an example. So any type of signals which can be represented in a mathematical form, we call it as a deterministic signal. So what is a random signal? The signal which cannot be represented in a mathematical form. For example, see. So this is a random signal. So can we write any equation for this one? Any mathematical form for this one? No. So we can't write any equation. So these type of signals are what? Random signals. So these are what? Deterministic signals. So deterministic signals are nothing but any signal which can be represented in a mathematical form. So those signals are nothing but deterministic signals. So if you like my video, please like, share and subscribe. If you have any doubts, please share it in comment box. Thank you.